guys, I want to talk briefly to you today about some remedies for anxiety that you can use in the moment or in an emergency situation, So if you're in a place or in a situation that you can't get out of right now and you are feeling anxious or nervous, worried, panicky, there are some ways that you can deal with that and just keep yourself calm in the moment. So if you're going on an airplane, if you are in an elevator, if you're at a meeting at work, if you are at a social situation like a wedding or a baby shower where there's a large crowd of people and you don't feel comfortable, there are some things that you can do to keep yourself grounded and to be okay until you can get out of it. Okay, so the first one, it's one that I use, that I recommend. I don't know the actual name of it, but I call it the 5-4-3-2-1 trick, and that's all it is. It's just something to keep you connected to your five senses and helps you to stay present and helps you to stay grounded in the moment and not let your thoughts sort of run away with you and not let your fears take you to places that you don't need to go. Okay, so the 5-4-3-2-1 mindfulness method is very simple. First, you name 5 things that you can see with your eyes. Look around wherever you are and try to name out loud or to yourself 5 things that you can see. Next, you name 4 things that you can hear. This can be anything: somebody's cell phone ringing, somebody talking, the sound of the airplane engine. 4 things you can hear. Next is 3 things that you can feel. And this can be touch with your hands. This can be feeling your sock inside your shoe. It can be anything at all, really. You're just keeping yourself in this moment and practicing focus. So 3 things that you can feel. Next is 2 things that you can smell. So muffins baking from the bakery down the street, the chewing gum in somebody's mouth. 2 things that you can smell, super simple. And then the last one is 1 thing that you can taste. Now, it doesn't have to be something that you're tasting right now. So if you don't have a mint or gum or chocolate in your mouth right now, don't worry. Just look around the room, look around your environment where you are right now for something that you could taste. If it's a wedding, there should be a buffet or a cake or something. And this trick works because it disrupts your anxious thoughts. When that train is going down the track, 100 miles an hour and taking you to a really negative place, a really scary place, this stops it. It puts up a stop sign, in your mind and redirects you. This is going to put you on a different path, and it's going to slow you down, and it's going to, like I said earlier, keep you grounded. And it brings you back to the present moment and to center, and it helps you to stay grounded in where you are, to just sort of stay aware of your current surroundings and that everything is okay and that I am safe. And that's really what you want to do when you're in a panic situation or an anxiety situation, is to try to disrupt those panic thoughts, whatever it is that's triggering those thoughts. So the 5-4-3-2-1 method is very effective. It's very simple. You can do it anywhere. The next one is called reframing. And this is also one that I use, and it's something that I use with my oldest son, who sometimes has night terrors, or if he gets a hold of some movie that he really should not have watched and now he's having anxious thoughts. We practice reframing. And reframing is just looking at this thing that you're afraid of. It's analyzing those fearful thoughts, those anxious thoughts, and then you ask yourself questions about those and see if we can't change the way we're looking at the situation or change the way we're looking at the fear. So for example, you have something that's worrying you, you have something that's frightening to you, something that it's causing you to get worked up now. You're thinking about this thing and whether it's likely or not to happen and what's the worst case scenario. That's what my thing always was with panic attacks, was worst case scenario, and it would just snowball. So when you start to have these thoughts, you want to ask yourself questions. So when I ask my son, the first question is obviously, what's worrying you? What are you afraid of? And once he tells me what that is, so I'm afraid that a scary clown is going to come out of my closet at nighttime, for example. Then we're able to go forward with the questions and say, okay, is that likely? Is that a rational fear or an irrational fear? It's irrational. It's not very likely to happen. There are not currently any scary clowns in the closet. And then you see if you can reframe that fear by turning it into a positive. So I don't know how you would turn the clown thing into a positive. Let me think about that for a minute. But you want to take your fear, the thing that is leading you off the track, and bring it back to, how can I look at this in a positive way? And the way that I know to do that is to use gratitude. So in my son's case, we might be grateful that there are no scary clowns in the closet. We might be grateful that we live in a very safe place and we have a burglar alarm and we have locks on the doors and we know that all the windows are sealed, and so there's no way that a scary clown is going to get in here. And it just takes it to almost a silly place with him, and it's something that we're able to talk about and laugh about. And I don't know that this helps all people, but anxiety, in my opinion, seems to be such a thinking person's illness that rational thought is a good way to combat it, I have found, especially for myself. It works for me. I won't say for everybody, but for me it does help to ask questions, to cause myself to look at it and say, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. That's not really going to happen. So then it's not something that I should be afraid of. And then to also say, how can I be grateful for this? Is there something I can look at and say, well, thank you for that? And then the last tip is going to sound like a silly one maybe, but laughter is something that I use every day to raise my vibration. I try to be aware of how I'm feeling and how I'm treating other people and what energy I'm putting out into the universe. And when it's negative, I'm much more likely to feel fear and anxious thoughts and anger and other things that I really don't want to feel. So I try to seek out laughter every day, even if it's just a YouTube video, even if it's just a phone call with a friend and we tell, a couple of jokes or just kind of get each other in a good place vibrationally. I think that does a lot for the spirit. I think that it does a lot for the mind. So it's another trick that I use if I am, say, I don't love flying. It's not my favorite thing to do. I can start to have anxious thoughts if I allow them to come when I'm on a flight, especially if it's a long flight or if I'm by myself. So laughter is something that I use in situations like that. I will purposely bring something that I can read that is laugh out loud funny. I will purposely, sit in the lounge in the airport and look at YouTube videos, or just make myself, read things that are funny. I seek out things that I know are going to make me laugh and make me feel good, and then I set myself up for success, because when I get on the airplane, I'm feeling good. I've been laughing. I'm just, how it is after you have a really good laugh with your friends, or you have a really good belly laugh, or you read a book that just, it makes you stop and giggle and just have a good time. Then, I'm sorry I can't articulate this. You can't have anxiety when you're having that vibration. Anxiety can't exist in the same place as that kind of joy and happiness. So that's my last tip, is laughter, because it's very easy, and you know what's funny to you, and you know the people that make you laugh, and you know the websites or the YouTube videos or whatever it is. You can seek those things out, and you can choose to stop that fear thinking in its tracks and to redirect it. So all of my tips, I guess, are on redirection, but they're also on grounding and staying aware. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, reframing and trying to see things as a positive, and laughter. Those are my 3 tips on how you can deal with your anxiety right now if you're in a situation that you can't get out of and you need to be in, but you also have to deal with the anxiety. So I hope this helped you. Forgive my rambling and losing my words. You guys, I do that all the time. I do it when I do the podcast as well, but that's what comes along with wanting to be real and wanting to be honest and wanting to sit and just chat with you. So of course, as I was saying, I don't want this to be scripted. My phone cut the video off. It was getting too long. It was like, you've been talking too much, too long. So I apologize about that. But what I was saying was that I don't want anything that I do here to feel rehearsed. And so it's not. Sometimes I will make notes of the things that I don't want to forget. I want to make sure that I tell you or give you the information, but I don't ever want to come here and it be something that feels fake. So I just sit here and talk. So a product of that is that I do lose my thoughts sometimes, and I do forget, and I do ramble, and it takes me a minute to find my words, and I hope that that is part of my charm, you guys. I'm coming from my heart with this, and I appreciate your support and your understanding as I talk about these things that sometimes can be tough to talk about, and I just want to really support you and encourage you to support others with this. And I do know that we had a challenge and we haven't talked about it. I hope to get to that on Friday. I'll be putting out a new video on Friday to talk about the challenge and how that went. So thank you for watching. Please like and share and subscribe and share my channel with anybody that you think it might benefit, anybody that has anxiety or any kind of mental illness that needs a support system or a community. We are growing, so thank you for that. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Bye-bye.